Welcome back to Get With The Programming. I'm Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
And along with me is Bill Grunler.
Wolverine.
And this is our Mount Rush moments of the 2022 Nobull CrossFit Games. Hey, nice shirt, buddy.
You like that? I found this. I found it. There was this homeless guy that was wearing it. I'm like, you look old. Let me take that from you. No, I love this. And what's crazy is the clown. Okay, so my youngest daughter, Jolie, she's like, I don't like clowns. And I see those clowns looking at me all the time. And so every time she sees me either wear this or the cult hat or whatever, she's like, I see you. And I don't like you, clown. I'm like, clown is cool. Pukey's cool. Dang
Pukey
it.
is cool. Make Pukey cool again. What's up, Derek? Glad you're rolling with us live for the first time. Hello, everyone. Good morning. What's up, Corey? Stefan? How is everybody doing? Oh, how was your weekend?
It was awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, it was awesome. We went to the water park.
The water park?
Yes, we have like a wave pool out here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was, the kids had gone back to school, and so it was like kind of the first weekend back. And it was awesome. I took my youngest daughter, and then Laura had her kids out there too, and they had their next door neighbor with their kids. So there was like this big old band of kids, and dude, it was super fun. The weather was great. It was fun being out there with everyone, and that was it was awesome. It was a good time.
That sounds great.
I got a tan, which is cool, so
you're tan like 24 hours, 24/7, man.
maybe.
Yeah, that California tan.
How was yours? Are you guys okay? So I sent you that thing yesterday with all the rain, dude.
Yeah.
Pounded by rain.
Funny. Okay, yeah. So we haven't had rain in a long time. And we got a massive amount of rain yesterday for like 12 hours straight.
Yeah.
And it's never been a problem unless I guess you haven't had it in 3 or 4 months. And there was like flash floods everywhere. But, thank you for reaching out. A few people reached out to me. My buddy JD reached out to me. And at first I was like, yeah, I'm good. What's the matter? And I looked at the news and I'm like, oh shit, where was that?
I know. I was like, I thought I would have heard something, or there would have been something on Instagram, and I just see cars floating down this freeway. I'm like, damn, Chase.
Yeah.
Even I didn't hear anything from my brother. I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but something's happening in Dallas. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. So there's some flooding, and it was a little wild. Nothing affected me, thankfully, or the gym or my house, and
that's good.
Yeah, but it was wild. We needed some rain.
Yeah.
Mad. Maybe not that much, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
True.
But no, my weekend was good. I'm trying to remember what I did. Oh, I put my wife in a hotel for the weekend. We celebrated our 8-year anniversary last Tuesday, so a week ago. And usually when I leave for the games and she suffers with my children for a week, I'll put her up in a hotel, like a little staycation when I get back. So that was what she did this weekend. So it's just me and the kiddos, and it was good. Kids were great. It's, trying to potty train my daughter, which is much different than potty training my son. It was Dylan was like, I was like, hey, just go over there and do what dad does. And I was like, done. Blake,
crazy.
Girls. Yeah.
You know what's funny is I grew up with all boys, and so like with my oldest daughter, I don't know what you're supposed to do with those things down there. I don't know what happens, but now that I have it's been only girls, I couldn't even imagine the wiggle hose of a little boy trying to aim. It's like it's really just sit down, done, got it finished. We're good.
I remember that you said wiggle hose, and I remember when I was younger. In my head, I thought, if I let go of this thing while I'm peeing, it's just going to fire hose everywhere. And the cockiness of that thought in my head that it was either a powerful stream enough to make that happen, or the size of which needed to be for that to be a thing. So the cockiness I had as a child, really, it just goes straight ahead like this. But so that was the weekend. No, it was a good weekend.
That's cool.
I'm excited to do this one. We the fun thing off the weekend is we're cutting off the heels of our first book club reading. Our Greg Glassman Chipper of the CrossFit Journal, and the feedback has been awesome,
dude. Massive. Like the comments keep coming, dude. It's awesome.
It was really cool. So I'm really glad you guys jumped on board as much as we were excited about it. Shout out to Wad Zombie who spurred the light bulb idea there. I know you're hanging out in the chats right now, so I want to thank you for that. And it was great. We will be recording our second episode this Thursday, same time frame, right?
Yeah.
10 a.m.
Yeah.
Pacific, 12 p.m. Central, and we'll be going through the second article in line, which is called The Garage Gym. Yeah. I'll drop this link in the chat right now for those of you guys rolling with us on YouTube. This will be what we will do with, and can I pin this to the top? I can star this, right? There you go.
I think so.
Pin it to the top. So that's what we'll be going through on Thursday. If you guys follow us on Patreon, you already have the PDF in your mailbox. You should have the updated yellow lined PDF of the previous one, which is the Foundations article. So if you guys are a supporter of us on Patreon, first of all, thank you so much. For those of you guys that are just rolling with us here to begin with, thank you guys. Check your inboxes, check the post at which we had. I keep grabbing my hat because there's something in my face. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm losing my mind.
All right.
And we uploaded the marked up version for that. So if you guys are using this for study material, if you're taking the level 3, go ahead and check that out. One thing on the level 3, CrossFit training, I just saw this on Instagram, is, maybe I can pull this up, is doing an online webinar for those of you guys that are looking to get your level 3. And they'll be answering a lot of questions for you guys. Let me see if I can pull this up. They'll be answering a lot of questions for you guys of how to prep, how to get set for this. So I'm going to just pull this up. We're going to share the love. This is what we're all about. Sharing the love here. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, see that? Yeah, let me move this caption down.
I did see that. I did see that. Yeah.
I mean, look at the people you got there with us. Nicole Christensen, Stefan Roche, Alex Gowers. So it says, tap the link in the bio. So if you guys go to CrossFit Training on Instagram, it's blue checked. If you go in their bio, they'll have a link. And on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So later, for those of you guys that have families at home and you can do something after, it's going to be all 3 of them. And they're going to dig into how to prepare for the CrossFit Level 3 exam and everything that comes with that. So if you guys have liked the series so far, even though we've only done one, Blasphemy Chipper, there's going to be a lot more information when it comes to getting prepped for your level 3 here. So check that out. Scott, what do you got going on? Scott Middleton just told my wife this morning that reading these articles, oh yeah, it's going to make me take my L3 sooner than I thought. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And I want to throw something out, like, okay, our platform is programming. I mean, that's kind of what we've always done. We've tried to stay clear of, stepping into all the different realms of CrossFit and all the news and stuff like that. But the Chipper articles that we're going over, the Foundations, the Garage Gym, all of these things relate to programming. How you're going to program, what you can do as far as modifications, what the understanding of a coach of what you're trying to look for, stimulus that you're trying to achieve, movements, range of motion, all of that stuff. So this all falls within the realm of programming. So it isn't that yes, it's cool just to talk about all the things that is CrossFit, and we're definitely on this wave of bringing back the old school of CrossFit, but one of the reasons why this really, I think, works with what we're doing is because we're talking about the games program. We're talking about online qualifier programming. We're talking about things that people are doing, great feats that people are doing. And a lot of that has to do with how are they training to get to that, or how are you moving to do this way, or what kind of equipment can you do to do this, that, or the other thing. So I just on a not so boring numbers and rounds and reps scheme setup. This right here, I think, really plays into that whole landscape of programming and coaching. Yeah. And I think it's really cool. I mean, I'm excited to do it just for that on our own. I think it's fun to do, but I want people to know that, like, this all fits into that realm, like coaching, programming, training, designing, all of that. So it's cool.
And I like what you said there, because Don Fall, the new CEO, did a all hands meeting with a lot of the company yesterday. And one thing he said that I really liked, and it was actually a couple questions that were asked, was, when Rosa came in, he tried to silo everything, and with good intention, right? Let's separate gym, sport, and training, affiliates, EDU, and CrossFit Games, basically, because some people had confusion about how they all worked with each other. And I think the unfortunate side effect there was the actual siloing of these people, where it was really nice and organic early on, is that, when you ask someone what their job was, it's like, well, I do this and a little bit of that.
Right.
Like Dave Castro was like, I'm head of training with Nicole Carroll, but I also run the CrossFit Games. And there's all this blending, and, siloing made it seem like a great idea, because like, okay, we're going to make clear, distinct lines between the three so that people don't get confused. And I was like, and this is what Don was saying, is like, he wants to go back to a more ambiguous
Yeah.
veil of the three pillars that make up the CrossFit community. Is EDU, gym, and sport are all part of the same family. Brothers and
CrossFit.
sisters. And the fact that
Yeah.
it's difficult to describe the three different areas does not mean we shouldn't do that, right? The onus shouldn't be on, or we shouldn't take, we should take responsibility of making sure we dictate what the difference is with people, not clearly divide the three. And that was really cool that he was talking about yesterday, was making that more of a symbiotic relationship between the three. So that was a really cool thing that he said, that I liked listening to yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the fact that just because they are three different things, education and fitness program and sport, doesn't mean that they can't be shoulder to shoulder. I mean, that's how it was when we started, and we as affiliate owners and coaches and programmers were the ones that should be telling people, hey, if you're coming into a CrossFit gym, no, you're not training for the CrossFit Games. That's okay. It doesn't mean that you're not doing CrossFit. But if someone goes from the outside and they're doing, well, I'm doing HIIT training and I'm doing this stuff over here, they do CrossFit like, and it's like, no, you're not doing CrossFit, because we do CrossFit. Here's how we do it, and here's the education, and you get the education to have the ability to say those things and to be able to make those arguments. I love the argument. I love having the argument. CrossFit is dangerous and CrossFit is bad for people and it's going to hurt you. There's a chiropractor. We just got a new member yesterday, and she wants to bring her husband in, but her husband's kind of hesitant because, he's a chiropractor and he sees CrossFit athletes all the time, and CrossFit is bad, and thank you, CrossFit, for making my business better. And I'm like,
God, I love that line.
I'm like, cool. But if you talk to any doctor, they will say that you chiropractors are paying their bills and getting people to go to them because chiropractors are bad. And it's like,
chiropractors are like the weird gurus of the medical field to begin with. So if you're willing to sit on someone's table, then you shouldn't be worried about walking into a CrossFit gym.
Well, and it's like, you're going to have a good coach. There are going to be some bad coaches out there. I hate to say it, but there will be. There are going to be some great coaches out there, whether it's CrossFit, Pilates, or it's going to be a good mechanic or a bad mechanic, or a good doctor or a bad doctor, or whatever. So, find the people that are worth their weight, and then you go with them. But that doesn't mean that that profession is bad, or that sport is bad, or this thing is bad. And I told the guy, I'm like, hey, well, I told his wife, and she's like, please tell him that line, that people think that your job is bad because of Kairos. So I love the argument, but you have to have the education to do that. You have to be able to explain those things, so.
They're shitty of everything in every profession.
100%.
There's shitty surgeons, there's shitty teachers, there's shitty cops, there's shitty politicians. There's a lot of shitty politicians, but like, they're everywhere. There's also great ones. And the fact that we need to judge a profession based off the bad apples, I think is a disservice. It's even when you look at chiropractors. Like, I know bad ones, and I know amazing ones that have gotten me through a lot of shit over my CrossFit career. And maybe I help pay your bills, but so what?
Yeah. I think it's good though. So I'm glad that that Don's doing that. That's important for us as it's important for the brand, because as we have been saying, as Sevon has been saying, as everyone's been saying, it's like his job is to protect the brand.
Yeah.
Our job is to carry that, but he's to protect the brand.
So I know we're going to talk about our top moments of the CrossFit Games coming up, but I posed a question: is how do you create a consistent vision and future of CrossFit without falling in the trap of catering to the masses?
Yeah.
And losing your authenticity. And he had a great line in there. It says, like, we are not here to please everybody. It's okay if we become confrontational or, it stirs up conversation. It's not, and I was like, okay, great. That's a great answer.
Yeah,
I mean, he dived into much more detail in that. So, it might come up that people get to see that, but he was saying all the right things. We'll see where they go. Everybody can say the right things when they're first pose the question, and then we give them time. And I think everybody needs to just give him the opportunity to do his job. He put out a goal of like, like long-term goals, and it's not an enviable position to be in. Before we get to our top 4 moments, this just came up in the chat up here. Let me scroll up. Who just said that? Oh, yes. Patrick Anderson, the hybrid element 26 belt, the leather belt with the Velcro, outstanding. And I think Patrick bought this when we last brought it up.
That's right. I think you're right.
When we last brought it up. So if you guys go to Element 26, if you're looking for a new weight belt, they have a leather belt that has a Velcro strap, and that Velcro can like hold a car door on. It's the Velcro you put on your minivan to hold the mattress when you're driving down the highway. That's the type of Velcro that we're using. But go to element26.co, use the code GETWITH15 for 15% off while you're there. Grab the thumb tape, grab some wristbands, grab that hybrid belt. They've got new knee sleeves. They got fabric ones. If you don't want the thick Masters, keep your knee together at all costs ones.
How dare you? Blasphemy. Who went to, I don't want a knee sock. I went knee pads.
Yeah, exactly.
I got lunges to do. I got knee pads.
If you could make a belt for my knee, that's what I want my knee sleeves to be, just to keep my patellar in place. And while you're at it, while you're scrolling through, go to bubsnaturals.com, use the code GETWITH20 for 20% off. I was talking to my buddy Ben, and he had a question like, how do you keep the collagen protein from clumping? I was like, clumping? I was like, what do you use to stir with? He was like, I'm stirring with a spoon. I'm like, no. Go to bubsnaturals.com, get that hand mixer, the frother, whatever they call it. I like the hand blender. It gives it a little bit more oomph to it.
Oh, yeah.
And use that, because that thing, I use that now for almost anything that I have to mix together.
Everything.
I got to the point now that I'll even mix like my protein shakes and pre-workout with that wand.
It's so good. I mean, if you have, granted, I run the batteries pretty low on that, and I'm always like, time to get some new batteries, because it's like zzz,
Dude,
and then they go blah 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 blah. New battery. You put it in there, and then you have to be careful. Like, you got to make sure you put it in deep enough. Otherwise, you're gonna have that all over your face, because those. I mean, I don't know. It's like the torque on that thing is a lot higher than the other ones that I've ever had.
What you just said, and just I'm gonna steal that.
Awesome, sweet,
totally ruined. Let's see. Mark that at 19 minutes on the podcast. If you don't put it in deep enough, it goes all over your face. Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.
That's about the level of maturity of this podcast. Anyways, but listen, if you guys haven't jumped on those, please do. They're great supporters of the podcast. They're amazing partners in this thing that we call the CrossFit community, and they're doing it all for you guys. But speaking of community, speaking of positive things, we are doing our Mount Rush moments of the 2022 Nobull CrossFit Games. If you guys are new to the show, welcome. Thank you guys for joining us. This is a dinner table discussion that we would have after the CrossFit Games for years, where we would talk about moments of the day, and we try to limit it, because if we didn't, when we go to dinner, it's all the broadcasters and MCs, a large group of people who enjoy talking.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really hard to get things in from time to time. So we have to limit things, and we limit it to 4, like Mount Rushmore. There are 4 heads on there. And so we call it, what are your Mount Rush moments of the day? And so what this is going to be is our top 4 moments, memories, and stories of the 2022 Nobull CrossFit Games, but they're personal to us. So this isn't a list of the greatest things that you were watching. These are really the most fun things that we were a part of personally. And it might fall in line with some things that you guys saw or did. But at the same time, this is a very personal podcast as far as our experience at the CrossFit Games this year.
Yeah, it's and I like it when we get to have everyone sees all the normal big highlights. And these aren't, sometimes they are, but they aren't always the big highlights. It's things that we saw or sideline things. And a lot of times things that people don't even know that even happens. I mean, I think one of the ones you said were the ice cream sandwiches that we got. And what year was that? Like 2013 or something like that at Carson. So, I mean, things where nobody would ever have any idea about that. But it was a big thing for all of us that were fighting to get whatever ice cream sandwiches we could get in between the broadcast stuff. So that's a really fun way to look at the games, another view of the games for a lot of the people.
Yeah. All right. So you first or me first? No, I just have my 4. I've got 4 now.
Okay. I got 4.
Oh gosh. I already forgot what button it is. No, I remember now.
Okay, good.
I remember. Good. All right. Without further ado, our top 4 Mount Rush moments. So damn good to get that music back. I know we use it for the Sean and Tommy show, but this is really what it was meant for.
That was really just practice to make sure you remembered what button it was.
Yeah, and I did not remember, so it's good that we did that because I totally screwed it up. While you guys are rolling with us in the chat, let us know what your favorite moments were over the CrossFit Games, whether you're watching at home or you're there in person. Roll along this story with us. Bill,
I get to start.
Start us off.
Okay, so I had the fortune of being able to call the age groups alongside when the open divisions were going, which means I got to see a whole lot of stuff. I got to see all kinds of action, all kinds of activity. In reality, it was way more than I'm used to seeing. Usually when, if I'm sitting with Sean, like you're so buried into the show that you have and making sure you have all the information you need or whatever. And I was doing the same thing where I actually had to go back and watch at nighttime the open events just to kind of catch up. So I had all the age group stuff happening and then all the open and the team stuff going on. But there was something that I thought was amazing, and it was actually in the teen division. So I went back to look at any of the past kids to see, okay, has there ever been anyone who's the most dominant, who crushed the field across the board? And when we looked at the old games, and I think the most winning games athlete or the highest scoring games athlete was Kristen Clever, I believe, when she was all first but 1 second. Yeah. Correct?
Yeah, just about. 2010?
I think it was that. Yeah.
I'll pull it up.
Yeah. So as I'm watching all the events that were happening, all of our events, and we watched Tia do her thing, and we're watching, the battle with Roman and Justin and Ricky in there, and thinking about what Matt has done and what Rich has done. There was a kid in the 14 to 15 division, and his name was RJ Mester. And this kid, out of a possible 800 points total, 790.
What?
All first place and 1 second place. And the second place was a close second place. This kid smashed the field. And I think the year before that, he was 3rd or 5th. I can't remember offhand. But to go from, to know that you have a kid that's that dominant. I mean, that dominant. There hasn't been, I think the next closest athlete teen that's ever been as close to that was Haley Adams, was all first in 2 seconds.
Okay.
But he was all first in 1 second. And I went back and looked at him. Dallin Pepper had 3 wins, and he had all these ups and downs. Olivia Kerstetter had her things. She's had ups and downs. I mean, all high scores, but never all across the board. Watching this kid go, this kid was 15. And
dang,
he just smashed every single event that came his way. It blew me away. And knowing, you have Emma Lawson in the mix now, and you have Mal O'Brien, you have Dallin Pepper, you have Guy in there. You have all these athletes that came from, these divisions. And I mean, it is literally the farm league for our heroes of our sport and for our superstars of our sport. And I tell you what, if this kid is that rising that fast, and it's not like he was it's not like he was winning all of them before. I mean, he's on a serious trajectory. We're going to hear about this kid. We're going to hear about this kid later. But it was unreal to watch him just annihilate the field.
Dang.
Annihilate, dude.
In a second?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Dang.
It was insane.
You think how old is Kirkstetter? 16 or 15?
She is 16. She just aged up to the 16, 17 division.
And she won?
Yep.
Oh man. You think she'll go any after watching what Lawson did?
I don't know. That's a good question. I
think I remember talking to Becca Voigt about this.
Yeah.
And she had a very interesting opinion on that. She was thinking more of young kids and sports. And she's in the camp of, like, I don't even think you should be trying to be the best CrossFitter in the world younger than 20.
No.
Like, go play sports and be social and be, kids. But, I mean, if that's what they want, obviously as a parent, you encourage their passions.
Right.
And if that's what they want, then that's what they want. But it is from the outside looking in, having no kid in the, skin in the game right now. But like, you have a daughter, it's what, 2021 now?
21. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, totally.
It's really weird. But growing up in that time frame, when she's in teenage years and trying to figure herself out and what she wants to do with her life. I mean, I'm sure how would you handle a situation like that?
So my opinion when it comes to young kids jumping into the open, because you have the physical ability doesn't mean that you have the mental ability to deal with whatever. And I think confidence does a lot for athletes. And, you can say that, okay, you can jump into the open division and get your ass kicked, and it's like, well, you're not supposed to do really well because you're younger than everyone. But when you're a young kid, like, you can have a lot of perceptions on yourself just based on, well, I can't beat any of these guys. I can't beat any of these guys. But if you are winning in your area, and as you age up physically and age up maturity wise, then step into the game. Now you have confidence behind you. You have maturity on you. I mean, my parents always told me they wish they would have held me back 1 year, because I didn't grow until my last year.
Keep going, but I have an interesting feeling or take on that.
Yeah. So I think that even though she won and she's the bottom of the age group, I mean, personally, I would say stay in this age, do what you're doing. You stay in your age division, keep training, keep getting better, keep growing, you'll learn the things that you need to learn. And then when you step into the game, step into the game. That's not to say that Emma Lawson and Mal O'Brien, that they made the wrong move. I think that it's very, it really depends on the kids. I mean, maturity levels are way different.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have some musculature. Yeah, totally. I would have loved to have some musculature when I was a kid in high school, and then making that jump into collegiate wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, when I stepped onto the collegiate mat, I was a state champ out of high school, runner up. I was a good wrestler to wrestle for years, and I was getting my ass handed to me by people that weren't better than me. They were just tougher than me. They just came out and beat me up.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready. I didn't make that jump to that intensity yet. So, I mean, I don't think that there's a rush. It's always going to be there. It's not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I see her, honestly, I see her as like the next Laura Horvath.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, she's impressive.
With handstand push-ups.
She's impressive, man. So totally. Impressive. Emma Lawson blew me away. The fact that what she did translated so well to the games was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Here's some a lot of Romans out there, a lot of Roman fans. Dude, that guy got a lot of fans over the course of that week.
Yeah, he did. I mean,
shout out to Roman for handling all that. I mean, being away from your kid and seeing him for the first time, and
yeah, there was a lot of
getting
stories
your
there.
green card or whatever they want to call it, like your provisional stay card where he can be here for another 5 years with his family is amazing. That was a lot of feel good stuff there. Oh, let's see some ones that are coming up. Rebecca Fuselier, There's a lot of moments there for her.
Of course, that's going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking? Like, CrossFit needs to almost make remember the old ABC Wide World of Sports, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat thing. Like, I think that if they had a version of that would, I mean, obviously that would be in there, and it would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
What?
Stefan. Stefan Myers. When I was a kid, I enjoyed making my belly button talk because I was chunky. Yeah, we all had different childhoods. We all had different childhoods. All right. So my first one, actually, I'm going to put this out first just because this is a little off the reservation. And some people may find this controversial, but I think it's not. And I got spurred on by someone talking in the chat that I'll write up really quick if I can find this. Todd said this. I don't know if Cross will ever give him credit, but Savan and the crew gave me a lot of my favorite moments. All of the interviews and media they provided was way too cool and really fun stuff. I am going to go off chart a little bit, and I will make that one of my rush moments, because what Savan and his crew did as an addition to the media coverage for the CrossFit Games was fucking phenomenal.
Dude, that guy was on the mic nonstop.
I text him after the third day, legit text me like, yield. I yield. You fucking win. You're the best. Right? Me and Bill will stick in our programming corner. We can still hold court there. Yep. But the interviews, the like 24/7 coverage in between events, and what Savan and his crew did for a benefit of the CrossFit Games and the community, regardless of opinions or what, like, doesn't matter. But what he did that entire time was unreal.
Yeah, it was great.
So I'm going to give a shout out as one of my rush moments. I didn't have this written down until I saw that. I was like, you know what? That's way better than one thing I put on here. It really was. And I think if anybody has dropping their ego, which is what we're supposed to do as CrossFitters anyway, and just recognize the amount of work, effort, passion, and dedication Savan and that crew gave to the CrossFit Games, was unreal and unmatched.
100%. And for all of the people that have issues with him personally, the greatest thing that Savan has is he is not afraid to ask the hard question ever. He doesn't. Right. He never shies away. He'll have his opinions on whatever, and that's fine because everyone's allowed to have their opinions. But he is always open to a discussion. Yeah, and just wants to look at it. He will say, if he's like, look, I don't really know the area here, but I think that this is blah blah blah, and then he'll get in the discussion. He'll ask, what do you think? Why is it like this? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? Yeah, he's, as far as an interviewer goes,
he's unreal, man.
His guerrilla style is awesome. It rubs a lot of people, and he always has. What he's doing is nothing new. He's always been this way. Athletes before, he would come around in the old days when he would come around, and he'd get someone up against the wall, and they'd be like, "Oh, I love talking to him because I know it's the game. I get the game." You're like, "I'm going to leave now," and athletes do the same thing. I'm out. But I love his. I don't say tactic because that sounds like it's an offensive. I love his style. It's a needed style. It's a needed style in our space because we have a tendency of getting too vanilla within our own group and our own family and our own whatever. So I think it's good.
Yeah, and I think you don't have to like everything that he does or some of his takes and opinions. And listen, he doesn't do everything that I align with.
Yeah.
That's called being different human beings.
Totally.
That's just the way it's supposed to work. I don't have to agree with everything that he says and thinks and feels and his thought process on all things. But what him, Taylor, JR, Souza, Hiller, all the back end people, I think Heidi, all those people that were here on site or in the back end, they crushed it. And it was only an added perk for the at-home viewer.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
You never didn't have something to watch. or information to be gathering. It was insane. They crushed it.
So I'm going to throw that out there.
Okay.
That's my first. These aren't ranked 1 through 4, but tip of the cap, mad respect. And I text him halfway through. I was like, "You're the best. You give up." We're not going to try to be you. We'll be the programming show, and we're happy to go head to head with anybody you have. But like Taylor and JR did a great job breaking things down. Obviously, what JR did is his predictions to the games are absolutely incredible. They got a great relationship. All 3 of those personalities blending together was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So tip of the cap to you, sir, and your crew. That was very well done.
Nice job. Nice job. My turn?
Your turn.
My turn. I'm going to have to go with the no expectation of what was going to happen, but the RV OG party.
Oh, man. I don't want to double up, but this one needs a double.
We had no idea what it was going to look like. We knew, we said the time. You were still calling what was on the air. I just said I was on doing all the hours of the age group, and I was starving. I had to eat, so I think we said it was going to be like at 8.
We were
and
late.
I don't think we got there till like what 9:30.
Yeah.
And I all of a sudden felt like I was at like a high school tailgate party or something like that. I mean,
yes,
RV. There's a keg. There's people with red cups. Everyone was so stoked and taking pictures, and we had cool people show up. And Matt actually had, and there it is right there. Matt actually had Sev on, did a little show of that while he was on the air with Sev on, and the Buttery Bros were there. Being able to see like Craig Howard and all those guys, being able to actually see all the group from Sherpa Works and I mean, handing shirts out to people and patches out to people, talking to those 2 dudes from Norway who are wanting to like do the, get their level 3 and how to do it and what they need to do. And there was so much old schoolness, not to talk OG net per se, but like so much old schoolness in that whole thing. It felt so rad. It felt so, it's just really, really like heartwarming.
It was, because when we have this OG moniker and cult moniker that we have is this, right? If you guys are watching on YouTube, this is a picture of the RV party that we were having. Just like Bill said, backyard, college house party, red Solo cups and kegs, just 30 to 40 of your closest strangers.
Yeah, totally.
Right? But that's what it is. And the OG thing is, this is what we're talking about. This type of community bonding. This isn't us versus them. This isn't a divisive mentality. It's us for them. Yeah. For those that don't know what this is about. For those that maybe have lost their way along the way. And that whole thing, like I said, I was late. I was freaking out. Craig did an amazing job putting that together. Ken did an amazing job putting it together. We were late because the sandbag thing was going long. And I was like, God, I hope somebody is still there. I hope 5 or 6. And I would honestly, what do you think? 50 or 60 people?
Yeah.
Roll in. The freaking Madeiras showed up.
Yeah.
In full force. Like mom, dad, all the sisters, any other relatives that rolled in like that. They were cool as shit. All the people from like all over the world came to hang out.
Yeah. It was
that
crazy.
was just that was really, really special because, when we're on here, I mean, I know we interact with you guys, but like, we're just out there in the ether. We don't really know who is riding with us. Like everyone's been fun, but like that was cool. And it was really cool to meet people we only talked to on Instagram or on YouTube. That was really special. And then we got to run into Dave King. That was really cool. Yeah. Seeing all the OG shirts in the crowd, on camera, in the stands, like that was really special, running into people. But that OG RV thing was like, this is what your CrossFit gym is supposed to feel like too.
Yeah, that's the CrossFit barbecue after you do the Saturday workout.
Yes.
We're all just hanging out, listening to music and drinking some beer and talking funny stories or whatever. And It was really cool. There were a shit ton of smiley people, and it was really cool.
Yeah, Buttery Bros rolled in, like as you said, and they were so cool and so supportive. You know, I was talking to Heber a little bit, and like he's like, I'm just really happy for you guys.
Yeah,
which was really cool because, listen, Buttery Bros, Talking Elite, Hiller Fit, Savon, like all of these podcasts, Jason CrossFit Media, Old Guy Inc., like all of these people in the space, like they all have their reasons for what they're doing, but we'll support anybody that's helping in their own way of things, or just in general. Like we're not going to tear anybody down because of that. And so it's really cool to get everybody together over a semi-cold solo cup full of beer. It was awesome.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
That was a special thing for sure.
Yeah. So if you guys came out to that, we really appreciate that. That is, I mean, we're doubling up here. Like that's one of mine. I'm not going to take one away because you picked that, but if I had to put a number one, that's right up there with it. That was really cool. Really
sure.
Cool. All right, back to you.
All right, back to me. I think this moment, and I have to put two things together on this because it's a moment where I saw an athlete do something that I don't think they should have been able to do. And I'm not talking about like Tia getting 6 titles or anything like that, but Jackie Dahlstrom doing the sandbag. You see, I mean, like Danny Spiegel, okay, I'm expecting her to heave that massive piece of mountain up onto her shoulder. Jackie Dahlstrom, I was not expecting that. And the way that she picked that thing up and did not let that thing go down to the ground and hung in there. What she got to 240? 230.
I'm trying to see.
I think it was 240. It wasn't the biggest one. It was one. I think it was the one right before that.
Yeah.
But that blew my mind. That was, I think, the lift of all the lifts. I even better than all the guys, better than the 350 that Rogue made. That was the one that that blew my mind away. You're going to show it? Oh, sweet. Show that.
Should I put sound on or we get in trouble? CrossFit Games.
Yeah, we'll leave it like this. But the fact, I mean, like no hesitation. I mean, look at the way that she had to fight and scratch and kick and look at like just hung out. Nope, and try and no, and okay, let's see what happens, and we'll go inch by inch.
It's over inch, like 1.75 times her body weight.
Look at that. And the patience that she had. Unreal.
Like Tia's face and
real.
That was
unreal. Real. That blew me away. The other one, and you don't have video of this, but on the Masters side, in the 65 plus division, so they had the skills set, and the workout for the skills, what they call it, the skills chipper, pegboard ascent, double unders, handstand push-ups, double unders, single leg squats, double unders, GHD, double unders, handstand walk. That's what they had to do. In the 65 plus, they did a scaled pegboard, meaning they had to hang with the pegs. They had a line. So it's kind of like the wall walk where you had the front and back of the lines. Same kind of idea for that. Their handstand push-ups were 20 handstand push-ups. They had to do 20 pistols. So Pia Gund won the event. And dude, this 66-year-old lady has better pistols than most of the open athletes that are out there. They were picture perfect. I mean, no weird position, not onto her toe. And I mean, you know me, like whenever we talk about what event should be in the Masters division, it should always be overhead squats because of the, range of motion of the shoulders and the squat and always putting people around below parallel. I was so shocked by her pistols that I actually hit her up on Instagram and I told her, I'm like, those were by far the best pistols I have ever seen in competition. Cool. I mean, below parallel and locked all the way up, no bobbling. I don't even think she held onto her foot. I hold on to my foot when I'm doing them. so the fact, I guess my rush moment would be those two things where it's all the athletes that are here at whatever division, whatever age, whatever age group or open or team or whatever, they are all incredible athletes. We already know that.
Yeah.
But when they're able to do something that they honestly, I don't think they should be able to do, blows me away. And that both of those just, I was floored. Standing up watching Jackie do that. I don't get that excited for CrossFit events like that. And I was standing up just like yelling. It was insane.
Yeah. That was just amazing watching these athletes perform at any level.
Yeah.
And doing things where I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that at all. And that's really cool. I'm trying to think of a performance. I don't know what of mine would be. So are we on 3?
Yeah, that was my 3rd.
Okay. This one will be a collection of things. And
that's okay. My last one was, I guess. So it's okay.
Okay. It all centers around the same thing. And it really centers around being together again with a lot of our favorite human beings, whether we work with or that we see on a weekly basis or that we don't see on a weekly basis. And, the fact that like you're back, Jeremy Austin was there, like all of our boys were there, Brenton, Larry, like the crew, missed Mike. Love you, Mike Richards. But even the morning meeting where Rothy rallies the troops and Mike Roth, who's the director of basically everything,
right?
Like
the media,
godfather of CrossFit media coverage, had this great speech about just like being kind to each other. It's gonna be a long week. Shit's gonna go wrong. And I felt like that resonated more than it ever had been. And I don't know if it's a product of what happened in 2018. Well, from 2018 to 2019, but I think it was because we can get in a place of complacency, not necessarily on purpose with malintent, but just by the nature of the way the world works. Because, say we had all been working together since 2012. You've been doing this since 2010. And by 2018, we're like, hey, we've been this for 6, 7, 8 years now together. And it's like, oh, hey, games. What's up, guys? Good to see everybody. Open regionals. And by 2018, we're like, this is the best it's ever been. We're on the precipice of, launching this into a new stratosphere, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
And from 2018, it took you 2022 to get back into Madison.
Yeah.
And we got to do Aromas together, which was freaking awesome. But that was like 5 people. It wasn't the same. No. And I think that speech that Rothy had of just being kind to everybody it's a very easy thing to do, but it's also very hard for people to do too. Especially
very simple, but not very easy.
Simple, not easy. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, that didn't come out right. Like double. Double. Simple, not easy. And now double under crossovers.
Right.
Simple, not easy. That was really cool. That was really special. The raise your hand, how long you've been here. I can't tell you how long I've been waiting to be the last hand up.
Oh, man.
That felt good.
Yeah.
Talking about appreciation, like watching hands, G's like, who's been here for a year? Okay, 2 to 3, 5 to 6, 7 to 8, 10 plus. And I'm just sitting there looking at like 5 people.
Yep.
I'm like, how lucky are we to be able to still be here from that long? And so there was a great moment of appreciation there. And then jacuzzi time.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Jacuzzi time.
The koozie
by the great Canadian Mike Arsenault.
Koozie.
We could do some koozies and just grab a couple beers, go out in the jacuzzi out back, and just shoot the shit. We got to catch up. I think we all shared a lot of personal things that were going on, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was good to see Jeremy. It's like that dude's in Australia. Like,
yeah.
He's kind of out there by himself. I mean, he's got friends there, but like Jeremy's a good friend, very good friend. Adler did not join us. I think that was an Arsenault thing at the actual pool. Rinse and repeat, but just that's the overall collection. Is like being back together again. Everyone was so great to each other all week long. And just the personal time I got to spend with you and other people and just really reconnect on a personal level was really special. So that's my third one.
Okay, my last one, and I guess it would
What?
be a sort of a piggyback of that, taking more of a 10,000 foot view of the whole thing. It was the first time since 2018 that it all felt normal. And I'm talking on all aspects. You're walking around the crowd, you don't feel like everyone's tripping out. You don't feel this weird COVID-ness. You don't feel like there's a big asterisk on this event or this activity or these athletes. We are all there. We're all talking, hanging out again. We're meeting for dinner afterwards. We're figuring out what we're doing in the morning to get, to the venue on time. Seeing all the people in media, it's so weird, like for us. And this is one that kills me all the time. I know the regular people that we see, our producers, our directors, that kind of thing. But then you're hanging around and you run into someone when you're eating or whatever, and you've never seen them before. It's like, oh, so how long have you been doing this? And like, oh, 8 years. Like,
Yeah.
Eight. I've never seen you 8 years. Like what do you do? Like what things? And they talk about, they do graphics, or they do, these promos, or they do these things, or they do sound, or they started over here and then they bumped over to here. And everyone has a really unique story. And it was even with the delays, the rain stuff, the modifying events, whatever, it felt like the games of old. And the games of old had issues with stuff at times, whether it was scoring or issues or whatever. All those things will always happen.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like the whole machine was there and operating. And that was from media, that was from the broadcast team, that was from on the friend level, that was on the fans and the spectator end of it. That was the athletes that were all there, the events that they had to do. Granted, we could talk about, whether there was crossovers was good or not good, or, the rope climb being taken. You could talk about all that stuff. But if you look at what it was, it that encapsulation, it was like this warm blanket feel that, like, oh my God, dude, we're home. Like, it's finally back. And now we can move, and now we can go ahead again. Not all of the stupid trips and attempts and let's try this thing, and here's this, you guys just do whatever and make whatever media this, and there's only 5 people in the games this year, and there's whatever. It was back to the way that it's supposed to be, feeling with the community, feeling with all of us, like our tight group, seeing people and being back on me especially, being back on that team. I mean, that was huge for me to be back in the group with everybody. But then just as a whole, I mean, we've been so into this community aspect, OG and cult and all that stuff. That's been kind of this underlying movement that we have. It just kind of accidentally happened, more out of frustration from the old stuff. But it's here now.
Yeah.
And I see that, and it's nice to see that glimpse, instead of going like, I wish it could be like it used to be. All of a sudden, there's the light. Now we have those torches and we can move forward. And it made me feel really good.
Yeah.
I walked away from there really just like leaving summer camp and being bummed.
Yeah.
So
Todd's question to all that, even without Dave Castro being there. And that's a great question, is how did it feel for you?
It's on a personal level, I was bummed that Dave wasn't there. Okay. On a personal level, because every time I've been there, Dave was there. And one of the things on my own personal thing is, you do the dinner, the after party, and then me and you, and usually Kiki, would end up some weird hotel room or whatever, eating pizza and just talking the shit with Dave. And I always really liked doing that. That was always really, really cool.
Yeah.
I don't think it was, with the fact that the games, I think, was good. is not a disservice or a demotion or a downplay of Dave. I don't see it as that. I was bummed that he wasn't there to be part of the group because he's part of that. He's part of, when I talk CrossFit of old, he's part of that, So of course I missed him there. But I don't think that it was, I don't see it as an asterisk year because Dave wasn't there. I see it as CrossFit, which Dave helped, CrossFit the sport, the games, which Dave has his hands all over, his fingerprints are all over it.
Yeah.
CrossFit, the games, it is back because the other years, like in between 18 and now, it just, those were asterisks. Even though he was there, that wasn't a bad on Dave. That was just all the other shit that was going on. So was it a bad year because he wasn't there? No. Do I wish he was there? Of course I do.
I like that. And I feel the same way. Obviously, I have a personal connection with Dave, not necessarily the other way around.
Yeah.
Dave's relationship is much different from his to other people and other people to him, but I have a close relationship personally with Dave. It's not reciprocated the same way, but I'm okay with that. I mean, it's like marriage is kind of like that sometimes too, but if anybody knows my wife, I know she still loves me. And it was more of, I miss Dave because he earned the right to be there and he deserved to be there. I usually separate those two words. I don't use the word deserve a lot. I feel like that's reserved for people who are whining about things, but he earned the right to be there. He deserved to be there, but at the same time, taking nothing away from what Boz did. Boz did an amazing job, whether it's the programming, but really, like, that dude, I don't know how he could even hang out after the CrossFit Games, of how much that guy was everywhere. Yeah. He had his hand in everything because he knew the gravity of the situation and the magnitude of the challenge at which it was. And he gave his time willingly. He was the boss at which we know him. He was a little bit more stressed than maybe we've ever seen him, but he did an amazing job. And watching him work gave me even more, I want to say, inspiration. Not that I need any inspiration to work harder, but I was like, okay, what can I do? And this kind of goes with the Rothy thing. It's like, what can I do for Boz or for the broadcast to help this situation? Because you see everyone working so hard to make this good, to make this great. And Dave was one of those guys, and he was the same way. On a personal level, do I wish he was there because he's just a fun guy to be around in that environment? Yes. Did that take away from our purpose? No. And I think he would want that to be the same thing on a personal level too.
Yeah, and he even said that. He said that he didn't think he could go because it would be hard, which I completely understand that.
Oh, I mean, I don't
100%. 100%.
It'd be like if my wife divorced me and then 6 months later invited me to the fucking wedding.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm cool. No, thanks. Yeah. No, thanks.
Yeah. No disrespect. Yeah. However,
but and I like
a little soon.
Right. And I like what he said also. He's like, this has nothing to do with the team that's doing it. He's, he knows the people that are there and what they have to do. But I think that would just be too hard. So I am not going to, I'm not going to say that it was, the Dave's game and the Boz game. I'm going to say that it's the CrossFit games.
Yeah.
And Dave drove the bus, and now Boz is driving the bus, and they are both two people that are very capable of doing the job that we need them to do.
Driving in the same direction too.
Yeah, that way.
Not like
that way.
Hey, I'm going to pull out this super secret map, and we're going to get there the back roads way, like I've been wanting to for the last 15 years. That's not what it was. Like, we're on the same path, and we may do different pit stops on the way there, but they're not taking a different path.
Right.
I think that's what they both want. And I think that was accomplished. All right. My last one. I'm torn.
Was it when you said, oh no, that's not right. Oh no, that's not right. I started writing when you started talking, I started writing those things down. Oh, no, that's not right.
Honestly,
No.
I don't remember anything I said except for this thing, and this is what's gonna be my rush moment. So I'm gonna pull this up. I'm gonna play some sound. Fuck it. Like, if we get a strike from CrossFit, I don't care. We're trying to promote your shit anyways. But this, I'll talk about why I enjoyed this. If anybody knows where we're going here, let's see.
Red for Kowski's end of Tim Paulson is running off, and yes! Send it to arms are gonna fall off. Send it!
All right, I'll stop it there because I think if it's less than 30 seconds, won't get in too much trouble. But the full send, full Paulson, that was a special moment for me because, not to rehash old shit to give people power because they don't have any, but during semifinals and all that noise that was about the coverage and personal opinions on permeated enough to where it was still being brought up in weird situations. And at the games, there was a point in time with all of us in a trailer where that came to a head, and I think got distinguished finally, which was great. And that moment, that call is special to me because that was the first time I felt I could really just sit back and be myself during a broadcast, because I'm a fan when I'm behind the mic watching this happen. I'm just as much of a fan as everybody else. At the same time, I have a job to do. But in that moment, I was like, I just became Tim Paulson super fan, and just got to infuse my own personality and energy into the broadcast, which I feel like I've been staying a bit reserved on for a while now. And that was the moment in time where I was like, fuck it. Either like I'm not going to play this game anymore. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be fully me. I'm going to full send myself into this call because this is how much fun I am having.
Yeah.
So come along with me. And so that was a moment for me where it was super fun to watch Tim do that as a fan, but on a personal level, that's when I finally just like got out of my own little rut of dealing with other people's bullshit and was just like, hey, either hire me or fire me, but I'm not going to be the one to choose. I'm just going to be me. And that felt good. And I carried that for the rest of the weekend for the entire, and I hope people felt that fun part. Again, if you notice, I mean, I know we had conversations on a bunch of different things, but that was just me getting back to me. And after that, man, I hadn't had so much fun calling that for a long time. And it was great to get back to good.
It's so fun to call an exciting event like that where we can get caught up in the excitement of what is happening. I mean, our job when we're talking color is, why are things happening? Sometimes, like, you're not going to explain why is Tim going like that. Tim is doing that because Tim has no choice but to send it. So he is doing exactly what he needs to do, and he is the man to make that happen. And because of his hair, he's just so goddamn big. And I think also,
He's so damn nice, and his dad's
so nice.
awesome.
His parents are just so cool, and every time they see us, they come up big old smiles. It's just very easy to ride that emotion, that fun emotion, and just get into it. And you don't need to get into VO2 max reasonings and thresholds, and it's like, no, there is one thing to do here, and that is go like someone is chasing you with a gun. And that was exactly what's happening. It was great that you were so fired up. That makes calling super fun. I mean, that makes our job extremely fun. Yeah. So it's
can be what we are, I think, is we are informative fans.
Yeah.
We should be able to infuse our own excitement of the moment with either the tone or just our own exuberance.
Yeah.
Yet still being informative of the situation. And there was nothing more you could add to that than by just being a super fan. Just like everybody else at home is like, yes,
yeah, totally.
Go Tim. It was awesome. It was so awesome. And to kind of just take the chains off a little bit and just get back to the way I love to broadcast. It's not for everybody, but neither is anyone. And I don't care. I don't care if you like it or not. Well, but if you're having fun with us, I mean, I care if you like it. Like if you're enjoying it and having fun, great. Because I'm having fun.
Well, there's not one announcer, play-by-play color in any sport that is loved by everyone. So, I mean, who cares? I don't care. They shouldn't care.
No.
So,
yeah.
Don't let start a petition.
You saw how that worked out for the last person.
Right.
Not good. Not good. Yes, Vincent. We I think we made that distinction after that heat was it's no longer full send, it's a full Paulson. But like Sean got into it too. I think I can't remember the end of the call that he did, but he's like, I think Sean yelled something like, "Witness me." Oh man. But yeah, that was good. It was just, and by the end of the weekend, we're having so much fun. And like anything, I usually get emotional by the end of the weekend just because, I mean, it's a lot I think people forget about this. Oh, Todd.
That's a good one.
Tim Paulson. Holy shit, Todd.
He's been on fire this whole time. Pia handgunned Tim Paulson.
That is good.
That is good.
I'm sure Travis is on it. Oh, there he is. Yeah, right off the Yeah, we should message Tim right now and is like, you need to change your Instagram handle.
Yeah.
Immediately. I'm gonna message him that right now. That was a great one, Todd. I love it. All right, Travis is on it. Vindicates all over it. See, you guys are great, man. You guys come up with a lot of good shit. This is so much fun. I love hanging out with y'all. But yeah, that was good. That was a fun moment for me. What I was talking about is like, I don't know how you feel, but I think people forget is like, yes, the athletes are on display and they're at the full mercy of the fans and the broadcast about how they're doing because we're going to pick them apart. That's our job. To do that, right? We will exalt you when you deserve it, and we will make an example of you to the casual fan when you have earned it. We'll say that, right? Like if you're doing something wrong that you have full capable of doing it better, we need to educate the people. But at the same time, how and wise? Yeah, it's not personal. Yeah. But we put ourselves out there for hours on end, hours and hours on end to the full view of the public for them to critique us every second.
And they do. And they do.
Right? They just pick apart, which is the name of the game. This is not a, I know, like, who cares? I don't care. But at the end of the week, like, I infuse every ounce of myself into the broadcast, every ounce of my personality, my emotions, my excitement, the highs and the lows. I ride for 5 days. And when it's done, man, I come down like I'm on like riding on adrenaline for 5 straight days. And when it's gone, I just had this weird emotional dump when it's all over. It's a really weird feeling.
That's why I drink so much beer at nighttime. Dude, I don't drink really at all. Like I'll have like a beer a week or something, maybe. And I go there and I'm like, dude, I have had more beer in this week than I have had in the last 3 months put together.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a whole nother energy, man. It's a whole nother energy.
It is. And when it's all said and done, I think that's why the last dinner we have when it's all over, because even when in between the days, I'm not fully in like 100% invested into the people around me because I'm thinking about the next day or what I could have done better. I'm always focused on the next thing. But when it's over, I finally get just like put my guard down a little bit, have a couple beers more than I probably should. But want. There's needs and wants. You should never need alcohol.
Right.
But and just lay back and kick it, and I have nothing on my mind anymore. And those after party dinners are the freaking best. Because we earn those beers. And shout out to Rafi and crew for doing an open bar for us afterwards.
Yeah, hell yes. Dude, okay, and I probably should
use
use this.
Tanya Wagner.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Drunk Tanya Wagner.
Drunk Tanya
is amazing.
I left her at the hotel bar and I went to the after party thing for the athletes and staff. And when I came back, it was probably 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And Tanya was still there.
Dude, I think I just missed you because she was on fire.
Oh,
and she's like, get another beer, and she'd bring me one. I'm like, dude, I gotta get up like in an hour and a half.
Right, your
to
flight
go
was
on
like
my plane. It was so stupid. Yeah, it was dumb. And she's like just giving me crap about not drinking it. She would like get pissed, dude. Oh man,
Mama Bear went like
she's funny, man. Cracked me up. I loved it. I texted her husband Josh the next day. I'm like, dude, we saw Drunk Tanya last night. She's fun.
Yeah, she is. Because like Tanya is really like our moms. She's all of our moms. But people forget she grew up with bros. Like she grew up with brothers.
Yeah.
And she's from Philly, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Some type of like blue collar town. And I think all her brothers were wrestlers. I don't know if you've talked to her about that.
I don't know if I talked to her brother about her brothers being wrestlers, but I know her boy is wrestling. I know her son is wrestling.
She put me in a headlock one time, and I got genuinely nervous. Because when I was like, if anybody puts me in a headlock most of the time, I'm just like, okay, like I'm pulling off a tight tie.
Yeah, yeah.
And I like pull on it, and it got tighter, like a boa constrictor, and I was like, oh shit.
Dude, it went from Tanya that always says, "Oh my word,"
oh my word.
Like she won't say like what the fuck. She's always like, "Oh my word," to where all of a sudden, like, dude, she was swearing up a storm.
Oh, it's great.
Pushing. She pushed Jeremy, and she'd be like, "Ah, fuck this and that," and I'm like, "Dude, you're rad." Next time,
yeah,
bring Josh out next time, and it has to happen again.
The only thing with Josh is like he has to be able to say water the right way.
Right.
Worder. That northeastern accent. I can't do it. Will she get a face tattoo?
Probably not. Probably not.
Every time
it was awesome. That definitely that was the honorable mention Mount Rush moment.
I'm glad we're on the same page there. That was really funny. Well, hey, that was a good time. It was a good time to be there. Definitely appreciate it. We'll never take it for granted again. I hope we get another opportunity to do this. I feel like the season will come around faster than we're ready for.
Dude,
but
yeah,
we'll see. Although I don't know what the season's going to look like. I heard it's not in flux. Not flux is like it's going to happen. Like it could be some changes. I don't know that more than
everyone's so good at being flexible right now. It'll be fine.
That's true.
It'll be fine.
That's true. It was fine. Well, gang, thanks for joining us. We hope you guys enjoyed the stories. We hope you enjoyed the show. We enjoyed your Rush moments as well, along with us. Tim, Paul, Send by Todd. Thank you for dropping that gold on the podcast. Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central. We'll be doing our second article of the Glassman Chipper. We dropped the link in the chat already. If you guys did not get that, I'll throw it in there one more time before we sign off. But print this out, bring it with you. We'll go through it just like we did last time. Awesome feedback from that. So if you guys missed the first one, you can always go back and check it out. It's on YouTube here. You can go check it out on the podcast. We'll do a live read with it. We'll have highlights and discussion points. This is going to be really interesting because it was written 20 years ago.
Yeah. And
it has a list of where you can get equipment if you want to do CrossFit. And I'm not going to spoil it about who is and who is not on that list, but it was fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
It is going to be good to be able to get back to these things.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
So when you guys are reading this, remember, this is 20 years ago, almost to the day. I think it was September. Let me look at this. September 1. September 1, 2002. So almost to the day, 20 years ago, this article was written. And this was before there were multiple CrossFit gyms. There was only one gym, and it was called CrossFit. Greg's gym.
Yeah,
The gym that birthed the nasty girls, Annie, Nicole, Ava T, like all of them, right? And it's awesome to see because the garage gym is their calling to get away from the Globo gym setting where you can't be a CrossFitter, which is really weird to hear right now. But I'm excited to share this entire article with you guys because it brings back some really old school thoughts, attitude, mentality, and should give you guys a great appreciation of the affiliate structure that we have today. So that will be on our next read starting on Thursday. If you guys follow us on patreon.com, the links are sent to you guys as well, even though we have it here. We will repost the edited version for you guys on there. If you want to become a Programmatron, which is our Patreon supporters, you can support us for $6 a month. Go to patreon.com/getwiththeprogramming. Other than that, thank you guys for joining us here. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. And thanks for supporting. See you guys on Thursday.
Bye, guys. Have a good week.